Back in 2022, Chasing Cars did a small SUV Megatest, where this car, the Skoda Kamiq, came out as #1. We loved its playful chassis and its awesome value for money. But now, today, we're at the Australian launch of the facelifted Skoda Kamiq, and we want to see if this is as good in 2024 as it was a couple of years ago. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the base select grade. I'm going to be taking it for a drive, I'm going to have a look inside the interior, and most of all tell you, is this still a fun driving car in 2024? But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe as always to Chasing Cars. Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car. Brought to you by Budget Direct. Let's talk about the price of this updated European small SUV. Price of entry into a Kamiq small SUV has increased marginally by $2,200. That's up from the cheapest $31,790 run-out grade. The model now starts from $33,990 drive away for the base select grade and $44,990 drive away for the top spec Monte Carlo. This puts the updated Kamiq at a similar price and spec to rivals such as the Toyota Corolla Cross, the related Volkswagen T-Cross, and the Hyundai Kona. As standard, the Select gains a fair chunk of standard equipment, including a new 8.25-inch center touchscreen, a new 8-inch digital instrument cluster, 8-speaker sound system, wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto, 4 45-watt USB-C ports, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear, a 3-spoke multifunction leather steering wheel, fabric seat upholstery, dual-zone climate control, 17-inch alloy wheels, and LED headlights, taillights, and daytime running lights. A signature pack is also available for this entry select grade, which is priced at $4,200 and adds larger 18-inch alloy wheels, a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, privacy glass, a powered tailgate, park and travel assist, adaptive cruise control, suede upholstery, and finally, LED ambient lighting. So what's it like inside the updated Skoda Kamiq for 2024? Well, this is the base select, but it doesn't feel base in here at all. It feels pretty well put together, well built. You still get a lovely leather steering wheel. You get this new sort of fabric material on the dash, which is really nice. And generally the seats are quite comfortable. They're not as bolstered as the top spec Monte Carlo seats, but they are pretty good to sit in, and they will be comfortable for longer journeys. I'm pretty much certain of it. There are some scratchy door plastics around the place, but it's actually quite well done. It doesn't feel budget in here at all. And I don't think it feels that different to a Monte Carlo really, apart from the seats. The Monte Carlo seats are a little bit more bolstered, a little bit more sporty. So in terms of screens in the new Skoda Kamiq, the instrument cluster is now fully digital across the range. This one is an 8-inch unit. It's pretty good. It's a little bit smaller than the 10.25-inch virtual cockpit that I really do like in other models in the Volkswagen family. It still does the job just fine. Now, in terms of your infotainment, it runs an 8.25-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. The Apple CarPlay can be a little bit fiddly, and it wasn't working particularly well yesterday, but I think that was just a one-case basis. Usually these systems are very good. The infotainment itself is pretty good, pretty easy to use, and it's pretty fast as well. So in terms of standard features inside the car, there's quite a few. There's 4 USB-C ports in here. There's 2 in the front and 2 in the back. You've also got your dual zone climate control, which has got a new sort of interface for 2024, which is a big win. It's not in the touchscreen. And you've also got features such as the sunglass holder up here, which is a really nice touch, bit of a Skoda clever quirk. They love to sell those sort of things. You've got deep door bins, and down here you've got your drive mode selector and your stop-start on and off. So all in all, I think this front seat is fine for that $34,000 drive-away price. It's impressive the sort of value that Skoda can bring at this segment. So what's it like in the back seat of the new Skoda Kamiq? Well, it feels quite a lot like the old Skoda Kamiq, but that's no bad thing. You've got plenty of knee room, you've got enough toe room, and a decent amount of headroom as well for a small SUV. Big features back here are rear air vents as well as 2 USB-C ports. However, one thing it's missing is no fold-down armrests, so you don't have any cup holders back here. There's magazine pockets on the back of the front seats, which is always handy. These seats are very comfortable too, feel good, feel supportive, and I just think that in general, this is a really well-built interior and it's going to last for the longevity of the car. So around the back of the Kamiq, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, that 7-year warranty. You don't get that with every small SUV, so that's something to note. Now inside, you get a manual tailgate on the Select variant. Inside you get 400 litres of storage space, which is pretty impressive for this segment. You've got, a couple little nooks on either side, a couple little looks like tie down points. Underneath, you have a space saver spare wheel, so that's pretty cool. So what's the new updated Skoda Kamiq like out on the real roads of, well, today, not very sunny Melbourne? Well, if you've driven the old Kamiq, then you may be quite familiar with this one. Fundamentally, the underpinnings of this car are the same as the Kamiq that came before. This car, the Select, is powered by a 1 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine that produces 85 kilowatts of power and 200 Newton meters of torque. It's mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Now, this has been working pretty well in the past. I really liked how it drove last time, and now we're back on the road driving it, and I'm really impressed with just how fun a package this car is. So what about the Kamiq makes it so fun to drive? Well, you might think that 85 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters isn't a lot of power. Sure, it isn't. But just like an MX-5 isn't the most powerful thing in the world, this is honestly the sweet spot of the range. I've also driven the Monte Carlo at the launch just yesterday, and that's got a slightly bigger 4-cylinder engine with a bit more power, but this is just such a fun little thing. It's got a great chassis underneath it, and it's really good in terms of turn-in and response. And it is enough power, even on like a winding hilly roads like we were experiencing yesterday. This is probably the least SUV, small SUV that you can buy. I said it in my review that I did about a year ago that this is more of a warm hatchback than an actual small SUV. It's just got enough fun factor to really make it an enjoyable drive whenever you get into it. The suspension is pretty decent. It's a little bit firm, but it's definitely completely livable. And the transmission, in drive, it can be a little bit doughy. However, you put it into sport, you just click the selector back like I've done just now, and it goes into sport mode, and you get so much more response out of that engine, better throttle response, and it's just generally a better drive to have it in sport. And I can't forget to talk about this awesome little gem of an engine, this 1 litre 3-cylinder engine. It's got this nice little thrum to it. It reminds me a lot of my Kia Picanto long-termer that I was running about 2 years ago. It's just offbeat, it's a bit different. And sure, it's a small SUV, people might not care about that sort of thing, but it makes it or sets it apart from other key rivals in this segment. Now, in terms of fuel efficiency, this little 1 litre engine is also pretty good when it sips the fuel. We're getting around 6 litres per 100 kilometres over this launch. However, I could probably do even better than that on the highway. That's pretty impressive, and being a turbocharged small displacement engine, it's a real benefit to have. And having that small displacement means that it's just really efficient every single day, whether you're in the city or you're doing highway commuting. Now, in terms of safety, this car does have some of the safety features for the Kamiq range, but not all of it. For instance, it misses out on adaptive cruise control and some other safety features, but the main ones are in this car. So lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, you've got AEB, of course, and you've also got a new driver monitoring system, which I actually haven't seen it pop up, so that's a good thing. Now, the Kamiq was rated as a 5-star ANCAP car back in 2019, and it hasn't been retested, so it still holds that 5-star ANCAP rating, which is great. And I think I should also mention the fact that it has a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty is just making it even more of a tantalizing prospect to buy. So all in all, the Skoda Kamiq remains to be in 2024 a real winner in its segment. Sure, it doesn't have the highest amount of sales, but I think it's one of the most polished, fun and engaging packages in this market currently. And for that $34,000 drive-away price, that is seriously good, especially with cost of living going through the roof at the moment. People don't want to spend a whole stack of money on a new car. This is an option I would definitely be recommending. So what are my final thoughts on the new 2024 Skoda Kamiq? Well, this car is still a really fun driving experience. It's honestly one of the most fun driving small SUVs on the market. And for around $34,000 drive away, it's just such a tempting offer. It's got a 7-year warranty, it's good value for money, and it's fuel efficient too. So I really think this is a car you should be checking out in 2024. If there's anything that I would fix with this Kamiq, it's probably that it doesn't have adaptive cruise control, and it also misses out on some of the key features that you see on the higher spec Monte Carlo. But what do you think about the new Skoda Kamiq? Is it a car that you'd consider over a Toyota or Hyundai small SUV? Well, let us know in the comment section down down below. And while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe as always to Chasing Cars.